everyone. Welcome to American Scouser's Premier League panel show. Man, a couple of losses, and this panel got awfully small, didn't it? These losing guys just bailed this week. A bunch of scheduling conflicts. We actually even debated this Wednesday or next Wednesday, but obviously with Thanksgiving coming and stuff like that, this Wednesday definitely seemed to be a lot better choice. The odd thing is the guys who could not make it today sent like statements and their opinions so I can read it on air as opposed to them saying it. But so we'll go through one by one, I guess, as usual. And there is some news that's coming out in the Premier League about Everton and Chelsea, actually. Well, oddly, nothing about City. So let's just hope that eventually comes. But let's get to the week that we left behind, match week 12. We'll start, as always, in order and go that way. Wolves 2, Tottenham 1. I'm going to go over to Jay's statement in a little bit here, but I know Alan is happy as hell, but Shay, is it the balloon burst? Or in some ways, maybe not the balloon bursting, but these injuries are going to be way too much for them to overcome?
Yep, I think that's what we're finally seeing. Like you said, I would say the bubble's busted because they are a very good team. That coach has done a really good job. It's just the injuries, like we talked about during that game last week, definitely hurt them. And they're on the downslide, but I think they got enough quality to come back. And with the international break about to happen, I think they'll be back. But it was pretty crazy to see them lose just like that in the last second. So
is that the one I called? I can't even recall my prediction now. But Alan, I'm sure you're kind of like basking in the glory of Tottenham misery over there, but I know like some of these injuries are a bit more long term. I guess Madison confirmed out for an extended period. I'll read Jake's statement a little bit. Van der Ven, I think, is almost like just as big of a loss, and obviously Romero with the red card is on suspension. Do you think? I guess let's look at this, because I'll say Jake's statement. He first said that he correctly predicted that the Bournemouth would get something from Newcastle. And then he would like to say that with Madison confirmed out for an extended period, I will be happy with Spurs getting just 1 point out of their next 3 fixtures.
I have to agree with him on one thing there, that I too would be happy if Spurs only get 1 point over the next 3 fixtures.
They're playing Villa at home. Going away to City, and that kind of sucks, really. I was hoping it was a team that can go at City, similar to what Chelsea did, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And then West Ham, and then they play Newcastle. So out of those 4 games, he's only went 1 out of 3. But if you do those next 4 games, Alan, how many points do you think they get from those 4 games listed?
I'll be realistic here. I think they can get 0 points. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, it is realistic in some ways, to be fair, but
no, I'll be fair and honest. 3 points. I think they can easily beat West Ham.
Yeah. Yes, I think that was the one I was picking. I was gonna go with 4. What do you have, Shay?
I'll go 4. I mean, like I said, you never know. Like they could show up next week. 2 games on the balance. They play us. I know we're flying high, but it's 2 good teams playing up. They'll get them back and roll. So 4 Spurs, like you said. I mean, Spurs versus City. I would like to see the full team, just because for everybody's entertainment, it would have been really nice to see both teams at their strong points to win it, because you're gonna have the questions, what if? So
yeah, exactly. And I think Chelsea has shown that if you go at City, you're gonna get goals, and Tottenham would have. I guess the thing with Tottenham is, we talked about last week's episode, the way they played against Chelsea. We know they're not gonna adjust how they play. And if you do not have Van der Ven back there, and if you do not have Romero, that's a lot of trouble playing like that. And really, Madison, I would argue, could have been the biggest impact signing of the season, really, in terms of like how we kind of like shaped that. No one thought, I think, with Kane leaving, that they would even be as competitive. And I think, filling that void and not showing that void has been huge. So let's go back to the games. United 1, Luton Town 0. I think when you look at the standings, we were talking about this in one of the morning shows. But you look at United. United has only scored 13 goals in 12 games, yet they are 6th. It's just dumb luck. good defense, or I mean, it's like 16 goals. They're the only ones with like a negative goal differential there.
I wouldn't say good defense. It's just luck. They're getting lucky somehow.
Yeah, they're getting lucky.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
didn't
like
realize their goal
1-0
was bad.
wins. I agree. And talking about bubbles bursting. Speaking of bubbles bursting, no, I'm just kidding. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. Are you happy with that?
I'm happy. We dominated throughout the whole game. Vieira definitely deserved red card there. He knew it immediately as well. We all knew it at the pub when we were watching it. Unfortunate, but like the team did like make sure that they didn't allow another goal after allowing Burnley to get back in it for a little bit. But yeah, I think all in all, they ended the game. They took care of Burnley real quick, even with the man down. No problems. Easy 3 points.
I don't know, by the way, if you guys caught PGMOL's Howard Webb's little show and tell he does every week, where Michael Owen like launches beach balls and then Howard Webb like slams them down as answers to pre-made questions and stuff. But he was saying that they determined that the tackles from last week, he glossed over it. He squeezed it in at the like a little short thing over there. Was like, yes, those should have been red cards for the Arsenal Newcastle game that we were talking about. And I don't know if you guys listened to the tape on that whole ordeal, but I still do not understand the hands behind the head thing and how they glossed over that, and they were like, yeah, there's just not enough to see here. It's just so even listening that made no sense. I was like, wait, what do you like? They almost looked like that was like nothing. They were talking about some other stuff instead. And what was the point of them seeing it go in the net? What kind of a formality was that? He was like, keep running it. Let's see it go in the nets. Okay, yes, it's a goal. I was like, wait, what? Why do we have to watch that? I do like that how they had to, thanks to after screwing over Liverpool, changing the wording, though, that, they have to say what the ruling on the field was, and they have to confirm it and stuff like that. But still a shit show regardless. Oh, that's definitely not the Okay. Continuing on, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3. Everton has been on a good run, and the word is that they definitely will need every single one of these points. I was literally thinking that, I mean, they're knowing the bottom three, this run they had, I think like 3 wins in 4 games or something like that, is enough to keep him in the Premier League. Obviously, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the point deduction thing is going to be a hassle. But at least it keeps them in the mix despite the point deduction if it happens. So Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0. How shocked are we, Shay? Because this was the upset special.
Definitely shocked. I was expecting Bournemouth to, run away with it like that. I mean, I know we discussed it last week, but Newcastle's got injuries as well too. But they're still a very good team to not get at least a goal against Bournemouth. So very surprising. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete in Europe this week. I know it's going to be tough for them again.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, Alan, when you look at the standings, they're suddenly down to 7 now. And, I mean, obviously the middle of the thing is crowded and we're looking at top 5. But do you see Newcastle climbing back up, or between Champions League and all this stuff going on with their injuries, are they going to be the ones that we were talking in the past, right? A couple of teams have to slide down. If United and Chelsea and stuff are they going to climb up? Is Newcastle going to be one of those teams?
Especially if United keeps their form, Newcastle is going to have a tough time coming back up, especially if they have injuries. Or if Gomes finally gets called for a red card, that'll be a big blow to them. Brighton's a really good team. West Ham's a really good team. Chelsea's actually showing some promise, as much as I hate to say that. It's going to be tough for Newcastle to stay in 7th if they're going to struggle. There's nothing, especially with Isak missing and a few other players missing, there's nothing about Newcastle that says that they can actually dominate a game without the referee having a say in it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it just feels like, and looking at the fixtures and stuff like that, that they do have some tough games coming up. But at the same time, I was kind of hoping that they would steal some points from those. So I do need them to be competitive as well. So I don't go into this hater category that our friend Sully sent out the message, and he said, hey, I'm out Wednesday, but he says literally, I did prepare a brief statement, but he will not be taking any questions. It's like a little press conference he did over here. So he says, dear fans of Newcastle, I can't add the sully excitement and enthusiasm behind this, but go with it. Dear fans of Newcastle United who are depressed and haters of the club who are dancing on graves, shove it up both your asses. We were fighting relegation 2 years ago. This is a process, and we're at a speed bump. The international break could not be coming at a better time so that we can get some players back. The boys have been busting their asses with almost no reprieve and done valiantly. Not one single fan should have this inflated view of the club right now, and instead we should be thanking players for their hard work on and not screaming at them following losses. I'm assuming he's like, I've seen some footage from like
their own fan base was yelling at Kieran Trippier because they lost 2 games in a row. Like, be for real, guys. Y'all are still doing very, very well.
I feel that too. He says, as for the haters, keep that energy when we're consistently winning league titles, whenever that might be. But so let's talk about that a little bit. I thought when the Newcastle thing first happened, and we were like, "All right, here we go, oil money." I think everybody kind of expected a city like, 400 million, 500 million spent in one summer. That's not what happened. They actually have spent the money very wisely. But Shay, in some ways, have they not really considered, because of the Champions League and stuff like that, squad depth and just basically fielded that, like put together a really good Premier League team, but not one that can battle on multiple fronts?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like how Villa is too. Like, we put a good league team together, then you have these extra competitions. Like, that's why the difference between the big clubs, they have the depth for it. It's going to take time. So Newcastle's going to get there. They got the financial backing to do it. They just can't do it all in one go. Not everybody can do Chelsea and just somehow moneyball this thing and spend $500 million in one season. So I'm sure during this Christmas they'll figure out to bring in a few more players for that depth if they can continue on in Europe. That will help them out. If not, like I said, when summer comes around, they'll definitely know what they need to fix and bring in more quality players, which I think most of these teams that are coming up into Europe are going to have to figure that out. Like, they realize that you need.
I think so, especially if it's your first time getting there, right? It's kind of like a different experience. And I know probably for the fans, those become like more special nights. And I think sometimes that, do you notice this with Villa, by the way? I get the sense that teams that are not used to regularly going to Europe, when they get European nights, right? Those nights become extra special. I mean, we always talk about like Anfield European nights, but when the club is used to it, it does not affect the weekend and the next game as much. Do you notice that, people get up more for maybe the Europe games, and it's like a kind of like a simmer down for the weekend?
Well, I mean, I've seen too, like, I think this past week we had whoever we just played, I forgot the name, I'm going blank. But the team from the Netherlands, and like, I've seen a couple fans tweet about it, like how the club was, giving good deals on tickets and people still weren't showing up to fill out the game. I understand that it's on a weekday and, people got to work, but if it's Tuesday PM at night, you can go watch a match for 90 minutes and then go on with your days. Like, it's tough. I understand people have commitments, but this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, because who knows? We may not be able to do it again next year. So like, take advantage of it. It's the first time the club's been in Europe in years. So you got to show up to these games. You can't make an excuse and then complain when the tickets are sold out or get too expensive when they start doing well. Like, you missed that opportunity.
So my assumption is almost like complete opposite then. People are still more interested in the league than they are in the...
I think it gives them more opportunities for other fans. I mean, fans that can't normally make the Premier League games, because like I said, in England, it's different. Here in the States, you can buy tickets, go to a game, you have your season tickets, but there's opportunity for anybody to go watch a game. I think over in Europe, it's very difficult because you have to be a season ticket holder. So like, I know, like, if we try to go over to there, we have to reach out to the club to see if they can give us the tickets. Otherwise, we're not going to. Whereas, here, like, hey, if I wanted to go watch a Titans game, go on StubHub, go buy tickets. I can buy 6 tickets and show up to the match or, the game. So
that's a good point.
It's easier for us here in the States to do that. In England, it's harder. But with these European games and club or cup matches, there's more opportunity for you to go watch. So, like, you got to take advantage of it.
So finishing off the Newcastle talk, let's do a little true or false. True or false, Alan, Newcastle will be in the top 5 going to the Champions League next year?
False.
False. Okay.
Yep.
Shay, true or false?
I'm going to say false, just because with Chelsea United coming back, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, looking at that top 5, as of now, the way things are, it really depends on how much. There's already like a mini point gap there between the 5th, and I almost see that's increasing as we go based on form. I don't know if Tottenham will bring the two together, but I agree. I think I'm going with false as well. So let's go back to the games. Oh, here we go. That's why maybe he's not here today. But he did actually. Alex did say not a whole lot of positives to take from Fulham perspective anyway. What did you make of that game? I didn't get to watch any of it, but does the scoreline indicate like how the game went?
I mean, yeah, we played really well. The first goal obviously was an own goal, but we were attacking quite a bit. McGinn had a very nice out the box shot, so he's been on fire. Just looked good, like you said, coming after that loss. To Forest really sparked it up again. So I think this little bit of break in time with these international breaks will help them, and then we play Spurs and hopefully keep that momentum going into the new year.
Yeah, it's Christmas break, I would say. Not an away game anybody wants to go to anytime soon, it feels like.
Which is crazy because for the longest time we were awful at home and really good at away, and now it's flipped, and it's kind of mind-boggling. We've actually made Villa Park a fortress again, so that's nice.
It's Emery, man. Emery's bad away.
Yep, that's fine. I'll take the home win all the time. It's nice.
Alan misses Emery.
No,
already missing Emery. You sure?
No, God, no. He's good now.
I just don't know if he's a good coach for a team like that.
I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good when it comes to a pressurized situation. I think with Sevilla, he was successful. He's successful now. He's successful at Villarreal or what's the
Villarreal.
Villarreal. Yeah, but then like a PSG where the pressure is on all the time. He didn't win the league the first year he was there, and then he couldn't get the job done with Champions League football there. And with Arsenal, we saw what happened.
How long was he at Arsenal?
A year and a half. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, as his lawyer over here, if they had the same patience they showed Lego had, do you think he would have turned things around?
Yes. No. I think he would have. He didn't get the players that he wanted. I will say the Pepe one was bad, but that's just people got YouTube compilations, got excited. That's why nobody watches YouTube anymore.
I will agree with the YouTube and the vitriol on that, especially with certain channels that I won't say here.
Call them out there.
Starts with an A and ends in
TV. Yeah. Wait, this one also starts like that.
That's also that one. Wait, the color's the same. Never mind. Hard to differentiate. Red and white. It's very, very unique.
They're very, very unique.
Brighton, Sheffield United. Alan we're talking about earlier about a squad depth being able to handle Europe and the Premier League at the same time. Is this just a squad depth issue, or did they sell a bit too much this time at Brighton?
Brighton is, I think they sold a little bit too much. They are a selling club, but they've been able to, recoup a lot of that. But they also have a lot of squad depth or issues as well. So they're not ready for European and the Premier League, and they should have. I know their model is trying to sell and rebuild immediately, kind of like an Ajax of the Premier League, but it's not working here, and it's not going to work in the long term.
It's not working for Ajax either right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy watching Brighton, so I enjoy them doing well. But I thought this was a game that would be kind of like easy on paper. Good thing I didn't place bets or anything this week because I would have lost miserably because I figured that would be like an easy 3 points for him. West Ham 3, Forest 2, and then we come to us, Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. This Liverpool team can drive a man nuts. I mean, I worry before every freaking game because that's how I roll. But honestly, like this Brentford game, I had the same feeling going to the Villa game that I had going to this Brentford game, where I was semi-worried about the counter and, like the better defending and like smarter play and stuff. And in both cases, I was like pleasantly surprised with how easy it turned out to be. But then, you go away to Luton Town where you think like this should be relatively easy as long as they don't screw it up, and then they find a way to screw it up. But good to get 3 points and get back on track. It was like a good performance overall throughout, and it's good to see guys like Van Dijk and stuff getting back to their best because it goes a long way as the season keeps going. So this was a freaking crazy one. I did watch the highlights afterwards. I watched most of the first half, but Chelsea 4, City 4. Shay, which one does it say more about City? Does it say more about Chelsea?
I think it's a little bit more about Chelsea. I think Pochettino's finally getting them to where he wants to get them. I mean, like I said, we all expected City to win this, but I think Chelsea just basically kept their head down and attacked, and they were like, look, if we're going to at least go against the best team, we're just going to give it all we got. So they let in 4, but they scored 4. So I like those games. That was awesome. That was a fun game to watch. So.
Alan, are you like getting hopeful over here, like chinks in the armor, or is it just like a hiccup for City?
No, I think City's actually showing chinks in the armor, and actually like they might actually be weak this year, especially with missing players. Like I think they're still missing De Bruyne. And
he's done for a minute.
Yeah, he's done for a bit, and then it's just not looking good for them. And I have to agree with Shay about Chelsea. Pochettino has his team right where he wants them. They're playing well. They're going to do enough to get to 8th place by the end of the season. It's going great for them.
Okay, well, you asked for it. Let's do it. True or false? Because I think we talked last week about being in the top 10 after that game, because it felt like, it just the way they play against Tottenham, the way Tottenham was playing, you thought any better team would be doing a lot better. But do they finish in the top 5 for Chelsea? True or false? Shay? Let's put it this way. They will finish in the top 5. True or false?
False. I think they'll be that 6 to 7, 8. I think they'll still find a way to mess up just because it's still, Chelsea this year they haven't been it. But I think they're finally going to steady the ship a little bit at least.
Alan, true or false?
Yeah, it's false. This isn't Roman's Chelsea. This is Todd Bowley's Chelsea, and it's bad. They're just gonna make bad decisions in January again.
And I think so, right? I mean, going back to City, I feel like they'll spend another 300 million, do like a sock ad deal that funds that or some bullshit like that, and they will find a way to get that patched up. And Pep will get the right people, whereas I think we all agree we don't have that same confidence when it comes to Chelsea spending the money, because God knows they have already spent the money. It's just a matter of putting the pieces together. They are definitely playing a lot better. So in some ways, like I said, when we started the season over there, I was like, good and bad. We could have probably made more of it, but it's looking like that point initially at that time, especially after with Chelsea's form, it looked like 2 points lost. Now it's kind of looking maybe like, that's not a bad point to get away at Chelsea. So we'll see how it goes. But going back to Chelsea, because they're in trouble as well. This is not official because it is not all over the place. Said I did see it in the morning, and then Shay, you shared it in our Discord, and obviously it's a lot of the talk in like the Liverpool rounds and stuff like that. Boys is already popping the champagne for I'm assuming it's for Everton. Received 12-point deduction. When you see this, Shay, what is your initial reaction?
I mean, like I was telling my friends today, man, rules for thee and not for me. Like somehow freaking City still gets away with this BS. Yeah, here's Everton, one of the founders of the league. I know Liverpool doesn't like him, but like it's gonna be sad to watch a founder of a league get sent down like this through basically pick and choose how we want to punish teams. I don't think it's fair. Like, yes, they should be in trouble because they did overexpend themselves, but it's funny how City literally has documented 115 charges and they won't do anything. So.
Okay, so that's
if you're gonna do it to one team, do it to the other.
Yep.
Okay, so that's interesting to hear because I mean that's my initial reaction too, but I was not sure that's because I'm like a Liverpool fan having to deal with the shadiness that City has been doing over the last good part of the decade. Alan, what is your initial reaction when you see the news?
It's sad because this is 12 points that they lose, not even on the field, but off rulings that are going in the Premier League and the FA, and they aren't even sticking it to Man City, who has 115 charges and counting, and not doing anything about that. I think for Everton though, as unfortunate as it is, they should have gotten a points deduction in some way. I don't think it should have been 12, or it looks like it's going to be 12, but I also think that if you're going to be deducted 12 points in any season, I think it's this season. They could definitely pull out of those 3 bottom teams. They can definitely pull out of that.
Well, I like it how it was 12. Just like I said, they finally started winning games. It gives them 2 to where they're still able to, like you said, give a chance.
Yeah.
Because they could have been like, oh, we're just going to take all your points away. Like, so 12 to me is kind of crazy because, like, oh, you're going to be at the bottom with 2.
Because with their forms a couple of weeks ago, they'd be in the negative.
Yeah, they would have been in the negative. So
yeah,
at least they're like, oh, well, you guys have started winning, so we'll leave at the bottom at 2 points and then work your way up.
That's my initial reaction too, though. Like, I'm on the same as Shay. I look at that, and when I saw it, first off, when we talked about this in the morning show, I think it was like maybe almost a month ago, 2-3 weeks ago, when the news came out that it was going to be looked at. We thought it would never be 12 points. It would be like they say 12, but it'll be 3 or something like that. 12 points seems ridiculous. And it's Everton, so you laugh. It's Sean Douche. You laugh again, and you laugh and laugh. But I get more aggravated because I feel it's unjust. And if I'm an Everton fan, I'm freaking livid. Whereas I did one thing over here, and you're pounding on me, almost punishing me to relegation in some ways. Whereas these guys on the other side, because it's a country doing it, they're getting away with murder. Why can't we get Lego heads to get maybe like take a plea deal, be the prosecutor witness or something like that and throw City under the bus? I'm sure he has some dirt with his days from Pep.
Hey man, that's going to lead to a points deduction to us, if anything.
No, he wasn't in Arsenal at the time.
Yeah, I know, but they'll blame it on Arsenal somehow. Have to send, much to the chagrin of everyone on this show except for me, they're gonna send they're gonna send him over. They're gonna send him in witness protection if that happens. I'm sure you guys are gonna be sad about that.
Yeah, you can get Emery back. I don't know. No. They can throw like Arteta in Legoland. He'll blend right in. Nobody will even know he's there. So let's go back. Okay, let's look at the standings though, because honestly, their recent form. I think Boaz was saying that they can play on the field. There's recent form with like those 2 wins and a loss, kind of made them almost look like, especially looking at these standings, Shay. I felt okay, they're in the clear now because it will take another 12 games for the guys on the bottom to even get close. Now they will be at 2 points, but still, that is only 4 points away from Luton for relegation. So if this 12 point happens, true or false, Everton gets relegated?
Well, false. I think Sean, like I said, Sean Dyche has finally got them going. This is gonna be extra motivation for them because they're gonna be like, hey, the league's taking it out on us. They gave us 2. There's a chance. So if we can keep getting points from every game that we play, there's an opportunity to pull off one of the biggest wins of the season. Even if you don't win it, like that would literally be a massive win for them. Because like you said, the league's against them, 12 points. They put you to the bottom. You have a chance to basically survive. They're just determination. So it'll be nice to see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I hate to say it because of the City stuff. I mean, normally, like you were saying, it's really split, really. I mean, it's not. I mean, we laugh about it. I think, especially us over here, do not see that as the rivalry, and we don't look at maybe in the City perspective. But I know a lot of people from Liverpool do want Everton to stay and just suffer through the relegation battle, but make it at the end because it's better for the City, and they put the City before the rivalry, which is fair. I mean, to me, like I United game bigger.
Like I said, because they started actually playing well. Like they at least they're showing that they're playing well. Like if they were still ass, then I would have no issue with it. But like they've actually turned it on this last couple of weeks, so like they're showing that they can at least maintain their league status.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point because they tied Everton at home. They beat West Ham and Crystal Palace away. Those are 2 huge 3 points, I think. They have United, which actually is my upset pick for the week. They play United at home because I think, like you said, this will kind of like energize them as well. Then they go to Forest, but then it gets a little tricky with Newcastle at home, Chelsea at home, away to Burnley, then Tottenham away, then City. So, but I guess it goes back to who they're competing against, and that's not really a lot in terms of like points. So, true or false for you, Alan? They get relegated. True or false?
I have to agree with Shay. False. I think they're going to pull off. I think with 2 points in November or December, I think it'll be. They get to pull off the Great Escape at the end of the season. It'd be a really good story. Everyone's going to be like hyping that story up.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to root for, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it's just good root for because, like you said, even with the basic corruption from the league, it's like, look, hey, they persevered and they did it.
Yep.
Like, it's a big middle finger to the FA, which I'd love.
Yep.
That regardless if it is your rival, it's just like, hey, you guys literally are such two-faced. You will not punish the one team that has gotten in trouble for so many times, but you're going to, punish one of the founders who literally created the football league. Yeah. There you go.
I will say one thing though. I think Arsenal's last game of the season is against Everton, and if it means them getting relegated and us winning the title, I got a couple.
You're gonna want to win
you went out.
They're going down, baby.
Going down.
They're going down.
It'll be like when Villa Newcastle played that one year. We sent them down, and they're still butthurt about it. Like,
you'll be rooting, but by then there will be no title chance for you, Alan. So you'll be rooting for Everton to get a point and like stay up or something like that. Don't worry. That's what we're counting on at least. So
it comes down to this, Alan. Like they survive and they have enough juice to have a lawsuit and make the FA sue City.
Hey, that's true.
So there's more talks about Chelsea as well now. Does that happen, do you guys think? Because honestly, I won't believe it till I see it for this one as well. But Shay, do you think they will come back on Chelsea? And if that happens, is City next, or that's just gonna be like keep sweeping it away?
I mean, I would hope so. If Chelsea do get in trouble, that'd be big too, because it's actually a big club that will get in trouble. I know they got quote unquote in trouble with the transfer ban.
Yeah,
well, the transfer ban. They literally had enough players to make it. They just couldn't buy anybody.
Yeah, they just
I'm pretty sure they're still buying youth
players on loan back.
Yeah, like they were like, oh, we have to get all our loan players back, which have 50 million of them around the entire world. So God forbid they run out of players, but it will be pretty big.
I felt they were doing a lot better, and they were actually seeing the potential of some of those young guys. The moment the transfer ban got lifted, they started spending money and went down the drain again.
Yep, that's because they refused to build any players that they have.
Yeah,
like we've already seen all their best players, the ones that left, De Bruyne, Salah.
You look at like all the guys who went afterwards and became huge. It was like, dude, if you guys just hang on to what you have and give it another season. But yeah, it is like a club. Obviously, it's not run in the same manner over here. Alan, so do you think Chelsea and City will get anything? An early prediction for those two.
City, no. Chelsea, hold on. Let me look at my notes here real quick. I didn't actually see what happened here. Guardian has reported that Abramovich event. Oh, yeah, no, they're screwed. I hope
they look screwed.
Yeah,
they do look screwed. I mean, on paper it looks like that, and on paper it looks like it won't be something that will be just a financial penalty or like something similar to what you're saying, Shay. Because it's like playing around with the numbers, it looks like it'll be a point deduction. But in both cases, I guess let me ask you guys that. In both cases, if they were going to get, which actually, if Chelsea gets Chelsea and Everton are not that, they're only 2 points apart. So if Chelsea gets something similar this season, they could be in the same conversation we're having with Everton. But do we think that's even possible for him to do it this season?
I mean, it would be absolutely hilarious. I would love it. Like I said last week, I love chaos, and that would be honestly hilarious if it happened. But I think is like I know they're bringing it up, so like this would be an issue. So it was the old ownership that did this, who they already forced out to sell the club. Like truly, as much as I would love to see Chelsea punished, that has nothing to do with the current administration. Like this is a whole new leadership, new owners. They didn't have anything involved with that. The FA already forced that person out, so I don't see why they would truly get punished for that. If it was still the current people in there, 100% get them in trouble. So like I don't know if it's truly fair on Todd Bowley. As much as I think he's an idiot and just spends too much money, he had nothing to do with this.
Yeah,
that's fair to the points of you kind of knew what you were buying, right?
Maybe.
I mean, if somebody's selling you a PlayStation for $150, you kind of know what you're getting, right?
Yes.
Might be hot, might not be worth it, might be a brick in a box.
You would think they would have disclosed that prior to him selling them, because I mean, Todd Bowley's probably does some greasy stuff. You can't just become a billionaire without doing some nefarious things. So if he knew about it, then go for it. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt of just like, hey, there's a whole new ownership. They took over this team. when they forced them to sell them. So all their, because like I'm pretty sure they wiped all their debts when he sold them. So like they
I
started
think so. I
quote
mean,
unquote fresh.
oh yeah, I mean the loans to the dude kind of a thing, and
Yep.
that was like the shady part. I just feel like I understand what you're saying, and I do agree. It's maybe not fair on that. It's more than anything like that. None of the shit is fair on the fans because we're
for
not
sure.
the ones making these calls, and then your team ends up suffering for it. But at the same time, there has to be some kind of punishment.
There needs to
But
be
at the
punishment, for
same
sure.
time, if it's not going to happen to freaking City, what's the point of punishing everybody else? But it's already skewed the way it is. Because shady, we're only making it worse now. Not only we were letting them get away with it, we're deducting points from everybody around them. Seems a little obnoxious, but like I say, the cynical part of me says, yeah, that's gonna be.
Oh yeah, they should
That's not
definitely
gonna happen anytime soon.
All three of them honestly need to be punished. Like I said, if
Yeah.
they're gonna do it all at one time. Do all three. Don't just
Do 'em
pick
all.
and choose.
Yeah, just do a package deal. Buy two, get one free. Okay, let's look at match day 13, which is a doozy. Of course, Liverpool is starting fresh first thing in the goddamn morning again, right after
It's
international
6:30,
break.
man.
City, Liverpool, 8 times, by the way, Liverpool has done that in the last 3 seasons. The closest team that has like as many is 3 is the closest other club, and Liverpool. This will be our 8th game as the 6:30 a.m. game.
Yikes.
Obviously, the early game over there. So I think, yeah, it's almost like somebody's trying to send a message like the more you complain, the more you get. It's kind of a deal. But City, Liverpool, I want to get your guys' take on this. Mine is going to be biased, and I have another 10 days to talk about this, sadly, and dread it. But Alan, what do you expect to see? City home against Liverpool.
This is Liverpool's chance to show that they are in the title fight. And this needs to be, if Liverpool wants this as much as we do over here at Arsenal, they want to show City that they are there for the fight and for the long haul. They're going to have to win it at Manchester and show the rest of the league that Liverpool's back, that they took a season off and they are here to stay. So this is their chance to be number 1 too as well. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
So
if Chelsea
from that, I get that you're going to be rooting for us, but which I think Shay and I very well expected. But what do you predict for the results?
Honestly, I think 2-2. I think it's going to be a draw.
This is like
I'm sorry.
Such a wish-filled prediction over there is what it sounds like. But Shay, what do you expect? You're a bit more neutral than this. No horse.
Yeah, a bit neutral. I'm definitely rooting for Liverpool just because, like Alan said, this is your time to do it. So this will be the make or break. This is where Jurgen needs to actually show, like, hey, I can still coach. I still have the swagger to do this, and still say he can still compete. I think maybe either 2-1 comes down to the wire, or you do a 2-3, like I said, because both teams can score goals. I think it's going to come down to the very last minute of it. And like we know, Haaland can't score in big games, so here's a big game. We may not see him actually score this game. So
that's also good. You guys are giving me a lot of hope over here. I like.
That'll be positive for you guys.
I like this. Yes. I hope so. I mean, like I say, I worry about a game against Luton, so I'll be worrying about this, and God knows. And
I agree with that comment, like you said. The whole Chelsea 4-4. I think City is going to be a little bit taken back from that. They're like, oh wow, okay, we're not like Alan said, they're not as strong as they were. So I think Liverpool is probably, definitely watching some film, and they're probably had that game on repeat. Like, hey, they scored 4 goals against them. We can definitely score 3 or 4 against them too. So.
I think City shows over and over again that the way to kind of beat them is to go at them. The thing is, not a lot of clubs can do that. I still worry with not having a 6 if you can go at them, because one thing City can do is if you're not going at them well, they can really punish you. And I think that's probably my only concern, is that there is no 6 to clean up the mess if that press up top is failing or something like that. But it'll be interesting to see. It should be a good game. I do expect like a high scoring game, because I do think both teams can score. Might not be close, might be skewed somebody's way. I feel like it's going to be one of those games. Let's hope it's skewed in our way, though. Let's go back to the board over here. We'll come back for our upset specials. Brentford away. Lego goes to Brentford. What do you expect to see there?
I think Arsenal's going to have a nice little kickabout with the boys on Saturday.
Really? Oh, Brentford fans will not be liking that. Okay, so you're not worried about an upset at all, being an away game and all.
I think with it being coming off the international break, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be a little bit tough. people are catching on to my little Ivan Tony. But no, I've mad respect for Brentford. I think they're a decent team. I think they've shown in the past that they can trouble a lot of the big name teams in this league. But I think Arsenal are in a way getting a little bit better and better as the season goes on, and I think we can get away with 3 points over Brentford.
Shay, are they getting out of there with 3 points, you think?
I think they'll be able to, yeah. It'll be a decent game for them, unless Brentford just somehow comes out guns blazing, but we saw last week they didn't really play very well, so.
And I'm almost like hoping that, they kind of bounce back from that too. I was actually really, like I said, to me, it was the same way as the Villa guy. I was expecting a lot bigger battle and a lot more fights. And, happy to not have it. Trust me, it made like a nicer, peaceful, more watching. But still, I feel like Brentford is a lot better team than the Brentford we saw this weekend at Anfield. But here's a big one. Tottenham Villa. Shay, are you guys going to take advantage, kick away the away curse? And
I hope to kick away the away curse. Like I said, definitely take advantage of them on a 2-game losing streak and a couple of their main players out. So I think we do. I'm going for the 2-1. I'll be like the neutral is safe. I think they'll score some because Heung-min Son is still a world-class striker at the end of the day. He is very, very good. So I can see him definitely scoring, and then either Ollie and McGinn to win it for us. So
how about you there, Alan?
If Emery has
get away with it,
if Emery still has any Arsenal love for him, he's going to dominate the Tottenham. It is.
Okay, you just talk shit about Emery. How do you expect him to have any Arsenal love after all this shit you just gave him like 15 minutes ago? Exactly. Okay, let's get to this. Tonali's picks for the upset over here. Too bad we don't have Sully over here. We would have to go with him first. But who is putting Tonali his money on this week for the upsets? We'll start with you, Alan. Hold on, let me I have to put Tonali away for a little bit over here. But what is your upset pick of the week?
Let's see here.
I'll scroll for you here.
Ooh, I have 2 picks. I'm gonna say Nottingham's gonna beat Brighton. I can see that happening, especially at home.
Okay.
And then I also see Chelsea getting 3 points at Newcastle.
Ooh, then we're definitely lucky Sully isn't here. Okay. You'll be one of the ones dancing on the grave, according to Newcastle loses to Chelsea as well, says. Well, Tonali might bet on that right there. He can bet now. He's suspended already. Bet if this is his own team. So, Shay, where is your money going?
I'm going 3 games. I'm going to pick the same 2.
Okay, you're not doing parlays over here. You guys
I'm not doing parlays. I'm picking 3 upsets.
Tonali's doing parlays.
Yeah,
Tonali's enjoying these parlays. He's watching the show right now.
About this, like all these professional athletes always get in trouble for betting. Like they have an entourage. How do they always get in trouble for this? Bro, have a fall guy.
Yeah.
Same with the drunk driving. Like, dude, you got to have a dude do this stuff for you. Like, don't be dumb. You tell me Tonali didn't have a dude be like, yo, bet on this game for me. Same with Ivan Toney, bro. Like, I would have told his brother, like, he should have just been like, hey, bro, bet on this for me. We're good.
Yeah.
Can't get in trouble. Like, they just don't think.
I think this is like the overconfidence or cockiness or something like that. Like, I won't get in trouble kind of a deal. And you would think
athletes, they just think they're untouchable, but here they are.
People after people would be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. Okay, well, do your parlay.
Yep. So I'm definitely going to go the 2 that Alan said. I think Nottingham Forest, they're playing at home. You know, they've shown that they've been really good at home. Then they'll pull that one off. Chelsea's going to beat Newcastle just after that 4-4 draw. I think they're going to be on a high. And I'm going for Everton, pulling the upset against United just despite that 12-point deduction. And that would just be absolutely comical for them to beat Manchester United. I was like, you can't even beat a team with 2 points. Like, come on.
I'm actually going with the Everton game as well. I think that I don't know if like Forest is as big of an upset, maybe because Brighton's recent form that like I would, if I saw that score, I wouldn't be like, holy cow. Mainly because what you're saying, Shay, too. They're good at home. But Everton, I think they do get something against United over here. So, and then yeah, that will be semi. I mean, anytime I can't lose in a game like that. But I think, like to me, I enjoy United misery so much more than Everton misery. And I hate to say it, this whole ordeal makes even Sean Douche a bit more sympathetic, and that's saying a lot coming from me. So, but yeah, that's my pick for the week. But it should be an interesting week, I guess. One way or the other, I'll be watching. The good thing is, we're like, the moment the Liverpool game is over, we're kind of like driving off, going to like Indianapolis for like the weekend. And so, one way or the other, I'll be driving with a smile on my face, or I'm running some people off the road. So, if you're between Chicago and Indianapolis, heads up, look at the score before you hit the roads. But it should be an interesting week. A lot of good games coming up. But gentlemen, thanks a lot, and thanks to those like watching, commenting. Give us a share and a like. We will be off next week, obviously, with the Thanksgiving coming and everything like that. But we will be back on the 29th with Match Week 13, analyzing Liverpool's win against City, hopefully. But have a great week, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you
Happy
guys.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Watch that mic there, Alan. Watch that mic.